Mark Thiessen, Fox News contributor and a resident fellow at the American Enterprise Institute, and Richard Fowler, a nationally syndicated radio talk show host and a senior fellow at the New Leaders Council. Great to see you both. Richard,
good to see you, Megan.
Just focus on that. I mean, the absence of security, despite the begging for it by Ambassador Stevens, and the growing threat there that this administration appears to have downplayed, and that the narrative is because they didn't want to make it look like it was bad in Libya on the anniversary of 9/11.
Well, I'm no Hillary Clinton spinster, Megan, but here's what I can say. So in 2010, Congress, the Budget Committee, and both the House and the Senate chose to cut $296 million from the State Department budget that went to security for our embassies, right? So that plays into this. So the reason why they lost security is because the money wasn't there.
He was an ambassador begging for more security.
But the money, the resources weren't there because Republicans in the Congress cut it.
So what does a leader do?
That's reported from the Washington Times.
What does a leader do in those circumstances?
Well, if you go back to Congress and ask for more money, but I guarantee you, members of Congress, Paul Bryan was the budget chair at the time.
Did she do that?
They turned down her request in the 2012 budget.
Is there any record whatsoever, Richard, of her going to Congress or doing anything to try to help them?
When a department, whether it be state, commerce, education, when they put in a budget request and it goes to the Congress, they go down to Congress and they testify about their budget request. And when Congress chooses to cut that request multiple times, how can you then blame the secretary for not having the resources that she needed to make sure that those individuals were safe in Benghazi?
Mark, you tell me, did she ever say, I need more resources? My ambassador is begging for security in a very unsafe area as we come up to the 9/11 mark.
No, she didn't say that, number one. Number two, Richard doesn't know how the State Department budget works. I worked on the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, which oversees the State Department budget. She can reprogram money from one embassy to another, from one program to another. So the idea that the ambassador is
why was the cut happen?
Richard, stop talking. So the reality is that if the ambassador is calling and saying we need security, then she has the money that she can do that. That's absolutely not true that she didn't have the money and it was Republican Congress's fault. And second of all, they had the money to overthrow the Libyan regime without having any plan for what happened afterwards. They had the money to send Ambassador Stevens and all those people into a situation of chaos, but they didn't have the money to provide them with the security they needed, and they didn't, by the way, apparently have any troops anywhere nearby to rescue them. This is part of the Clinton doctrine. See, we have a larger problem here. The Clinton doctrine is to overthrow regimes and attack terrorists from the air without putting any boots on the ground. And we saw this during Bill Clinton's presidency, when we were attacked over and over again by Al-Qaeda and other terrorists at the World Trade Center, Khobar Towers, USS Cole, embassy in East Africa. We throw a couple of missiles at them, hit a camel in the butt, as President Bush famously said, and do nothing about taking away their sanctuaries. They followed the same doctrine in Libya. They overthrew a regime, had no plan for what to do afterwards, and they threw Ambassador Stevens into that mess.
Because I think it's unfair.
But let me ask you, Richard, so Libya seems to be, she wants to gloss right over, because this is what she was basically saying, we didn't lose anybody in Libya. Just the other day, do we have that soundbite? Here's what she said to NBC News just a couple days ago. Watch.
With respect to Libya, we did not lose a single American in that action.
Okay, except for Ambassador Stevens.
No. Wait a minute, Megan. PolitiFacts they wrote an article about this particular quote. In this quote, she says, during the action, which is the time in which they overthrew Gaddafi, that was when the action began and the action ended. Yes, we lost 4 individuals there, and that was awful.
But Mark's point is that she went in and did that action without providing adequate ground troops to maintain the stability.
Well, here's the thing. Hillary doesn't control ground troops. You're on the Foreign Relations Committee at the Senate, Mark. You know that.
The 4 Americans are dead.
She does not control ground troops.
She's a member of the National Security Council.
Does not. Does she control ground troops? Yes or no? Does she directly control ground troops? She does not control the Marines that are stationed at the consulate. Those are controlled by the Marines.
She controlled the security situation at the consulate, Richard. She did.
She controls the budget. She does not control the movement of troops. And Mark knows that. I mean, once again, this goes back to this narrative. They want to do, Mark and others want to do everything in their power to take down Hillary Clinton. They compare her to her husband. But what we could say, the Bush doctrine killed 5,000 troops, and Donald Trump is more of the same. Those are the facts. Miss me with all the jargon, Mark.
You want to dismiss it as the right-wing conspiracy?
No, I won't dismiss it. You just got to. You need to talk about how Donald Trump doesn't have